Hi, my name is Commissioner Jeff Fix, and it's a great time to be a commissioner in Fairfield County. I always appreciate the opportunity to serve. I want to talk today about the American Rescue Plan. Last year the federal government decided to send $1 trillion out into the economy through state and local governments. Fairfield County was fortunate enough to receive over $30 million in American Rescue Plan funds. Now, there are rules that were attached to that, and there are some basic guidelines, and I'm going to just kind of read through some of those guidelines and then tell you about how Commissioners Davis and Levacy and I chose to dole out that money, if you will. So the plan is basically designed to support public health response, address negative economic impacts, replace public sector revenue loss, provide premium pay for essential workers, and to build water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. When we first learned that this money was going to be coming from the federal government, we decided, rather than to have a knee-jerk reaction and just start throwing money around, that it would make sense to create a comprehensive strategic plan, and to do that not just for this American Rescue Plan money, but to look at the needs of the entire county and to really evaluate what our strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, and come up with a plan that could use not only some of this ARP money, but perhaps in the future use some of our general fund money, and also offer the opportunity for public and private partnerships using faith-based communities and the business sector as well. And that plan took about 4 or 5 months to put together. We brought in a huge number of stakeholders from around Fairfield County, came up with what we're very proud of as a really strong strategic plan for Fairfield County. The total amount we received, to be precise, is $30,606,902. So let's talk more about that strategic plan. The pillars, the 6 main parts of the strategic plan, are infrastructure, social services, housing, workforce development, economic development, and county operations. And so we'll address each one of those as we go here. Starting with infrastructure, the goal of the pillar of this pillar of the strategic plan is to advocate for, develop, and maintain sustainable infrastructure that supports equitable access, connectivity, and well-being of Fairfield County residents and businesses. In this category, and I'm not going to read through the 70-some projects that we funded, but we put almost $5.5 million, $5.4 million into infrastructure. 2 that I wanted to mention that were particularly positive: the Walnut Creek wastewater treatment plant expansion. We're putting $750,000 towards that. That will allow that part of our community to grow the size of their wastewater. They're at capacity with their wastewater and can't grow anymore without that funding and the expansion of their plant. So we're excited to support them. And then the Village of Baltimore, we're putting $613,000 to West Washington Waterline Project. That will allow them to fully connect their entire water system in a loop, which I don't want to get too bogged down in infrastructure talk, but as I understand it, having a loop is much better than having endpoints in a water system. So we were very excited to provide the Village of Baltimore with that money. Social services. The goal of the social services pillar is to strengthen and support social services programs through broader coordination to better meet the needs of residents. We agreed to give $1.565 million to the areas of social services. And one that I wanted to talk about here was the Juvenile Court Community-Based Truancy Program. We gave just over $500,000 to Judge Vandervoort and her court. What's happened is, during the pandemic, and as children or our kids and high school kids, teenagers were basically sent home and educated through the computer for a year and a half, we're learning that as those kids were brought back into school, that truancy became a huge issue. Some kids just weren't ready to come back to school or didn't want to. And the schools are really struggling with this. And so our court is being flooded then with truancy cases. And you don't want to put a kid in the juvenile detention center for not going to school. You want to instead figure out why that kid doesn't want to go to school, why they're not, what the family support system is like, and how we can help get that kid on a better path. So this $500,000 grant to the juvenile court system will really help divert kids from the juvenile courts and back into school. So we're appreciative of Judge Vandervoort and her work there. The next pillar is housing. The goal of the housing part of our strategic plan is to improve availability and access to safe, quality, affordable, and supporting housing throughout Fairfield County. We're putting $3.655 million towards housing. Two big projects there. One is Habitat for Humanity asked us for money. We're providing them with $610,000 to help them build 7 homes in Fairfield County over the next few years. We're finding that Habitat for Humanity is becoming stronger and stronger and more aggressive in how they're doing their business, right? Which is to find families that need a home, helping them get started by building them a home and giving them a 0% interest mortgage for 30 years. It's a great program. They've started to see some real nice success here in Fairfield County. We're very happy to support them. We're providing $3 million to the Adam Board in conjunction with the Lutheran Social Services. Without getting too bogged down in it, basically they're going to expand the homeless shelter so that it can not only be an overnight shelter, but that they can provide services to the people who need that shelter during the day. Today, those people have to leave the shelter in the morning and can't come back till night. The idea is that providing those folks with services and programs to try to help them get back on their feet and get out of their homeless situation is one that we fully support. It's also going to allow the Lutheran Social Services to expand their veterans homeless shelter and try to, again, get those folks up on their feet. And then finally, it's going to allow Adam H. to build a 24 apartment complex for families that are struggling with housing, something that's sorely needed and does not exist here in Fairfield County today. So our $3.3 million is not going to cover all of that. The Adam Board has done a great job of funding and seeking other funds, as has Lutheran Social Services, but we're happy to be a part of their expansion of services to the homeless folks here in Fairfield County. Workforce development. The goal of our workforce development portion of the strategic plan is to grow and support a skilled workforce to meet the needs of local, current, and future employers, and, this is my personal add to that, to provide career jobs in the skilled trades to allow all Fairfield County residents to live their version of the American dream. We're proud to be providing $2.15 million to our workforce group. And finally, economic development is tied to workforce development. The goal of the economic development portion of the strategic plan is to facilitate and drive economic growth through effective planning, promotion, and development. And we are providing $845,000 to economic development here in Fairfield County. Finally, we have county operations, and we broke this into 2 categories, but the goal overall of the county operations pillar is to optimize county operations to meet the emerging needs of Fairfield County employees and residents. The first part of that are projects that were directly related to the pandemic. So we're providing $2.17 million towards those causes, and that money mostly has already been spent. The other projects are how we're going to improve our county operations going forward. And towards that, we're putting $10.4 million. Over $4 million of that is going to the creation of the Northwest Government Services Building. We're calling it the Fairfield Center. Our county clerk is going to have his office up, one of his offices up there. Our sheriff substation will be moving over there, and we think there are other services that can be provided to all the folks of the northwest part of the county that normally would have to drive into Lancaster to get those services. So overall, we're providing $29 million in support to this variety of folks who are going to help us improve Fairfield County. Some people wonder why we chose to spend this much here, some over there, why we did fund this and didn't fund that. The fact of the matter is I can't think of a project on these lists that did not touch some other project on the list. They're all really interconnected. And at the end of the day, every single one of these projects that we're funding are going to provide a benefit to the residents of Fairfield County. We had the opportunity to take $10 million and just sock it away in our general fund, and we chose not to do that. The reason we chose not to do that is twofold. First, thanks to the long-term efforts really of Dr. Carrie Brown, who's now our county auditor, but was for years our county administrator, and Commissioners Levacy and Davis over the last 10 years have done an outstanding job of managing our financial situation to the point where we're in the best financial position that Fairfield County has ever been in, and we didn't need to put that money away. Rather, we could apply it towards these great causes. We also didn't want to say no to anyone. We didn't give everyone everything they asked for. We couldn't have. There was many more asks, or many more dollars asked for than we were able to give. But we didn't say no to anyone, and we're really proud of that. Every project that was presented to us, every ask that was made had merit and was truly going to benefit the residents of Fairfield County. So we're really proud of the fact that we did not say no. So a great thanks goes to our staff, our County Administrator, Ani Cordell, Deputy Administrator Jeff Porter. Our entire team has really worked hard on figuring out the best way to spend this federal government money. We are very pleased to have the opportunity to make such an impact, and we're just getting started, right? This is the starting point. We look forward to the next 3 years hearing back from all the folks who receive these grants so they can come back and tell us about the impact that they're making, and I look forward to sharing that impact with you in more videos like this in the future. Thank you again for the opportunity to be your county commissioner. I look forward to seeing you soon.